Parthoda was the research person, huh?
Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
excellent talk.
I heard him. Parthoda was my ex-colleague while I was working in Handy Girls College in year
Oh yeah.
99 2000.
Yeah. So another respected principals and participants from different colleges, almost 10 colleges participate in the our earlier webinar. Actually, somebody is presenting slide, so there is an humble request. Some Goswami is doing that. Dr. Gitasri Daravdhara, are you ready, na? আমি অকণমান ৰখিছো কাৰণ আমাৰ পাৰ্টিচিপেণ্ট বিলাক জইন কৰি আছেতো আমি another 5 minutes wait কৰিছো okay গীতাশ্ৰী,
হয় sir.
আমি আৰম্ভ কৰোঁ নেকি?
Okay sir. So a warm good afternoon to everyone present in this online forum. I, Dr. Gitashri Darabthara, Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemistry, on behalf of Surendascollege fraternity, offer you all a very hearty welcome to today's national webinar on the topic Writing Research Papers for Peer-Reviewed Journals. This webinar is organized by the Research Cell in collaboration with IQAC, Surendascollege, Hazu. I take this opportunity to welcome our very respected principal, Dr. Hiranya Kumar Sharma sir, our today's honorable resource person, Professor Dr. Anup Saikia sir from the Department of Geography, Guwahati University, Dr. Ripima Buzarbarua ma'am, Coordinator IQAC, Dr. Amulya Palita sir, Coordinator Research Cell, esteemed faculties and the participants from different colleges and other institutes, and the faculties and participants from Surendascollege, Hazu. I'm also happy to inform you all that in today's webinar, more than 41 colleges and universities across the country have registered, and we are really glad to receive such active participation from all of them. So we all know how important and significant the topic of today's webinar holds. As we all know, research has nowadays become an integral part for colleges and universities. The knowledge that is generated through proper research is the basis of sustainable developments. Likewise, it is of utmost importance to pass on the knowledge that we generate through research to the greater mass. Research results, as we all know, can be presented in a variety of ways, but the most popular and the effective way is to present them in the form of research papers. So getting a research paper published in an accredited journal holds benefit for the researcher as well as the institution who is hosting the journal. So publishing in a peer-reviewed journal provides visibility to our work all over the globe. Journals can make our work more recognizable, and as such, it is of high importance to publish our work in reputed journals. Selecting the appropriate journal can help add information to the public discussion of contemporary topics beyond our academic circles. Nowadays, we are also aware that a number of fake journals have come up in the market for monetary benefits. In this regard, it is very important that we have a sound knowledge on where to publish our work in order to value our piece of work. Therefore, to enlighten us on this topic, how to write research papers for peer-reviewed journals, we have amongst us Professor Dr. Anup Saikia sir from Guwahati University. So before proceeding to the talk, I would now request our respected principal, Dr. Hiranya Kumar Sharma sir, to kindly deliver his welcome address. Sir, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Gitashri Darabthara, for your introduction. Very warm good afternoon to all of you. It is a very glad information for us that more than 41 numbers of colleges within our states, respected principal and faculty members has participated in today's webinar. And from outside India, from King Khalid University from Saudi Arabia, their faculty members are also joined in this today's webinar. From Deccan College, Pune, from Manipur University of Culture, then Tilak Manji, Bhagalpur University, Bihar, from Assam University, Silchar, Pragati Group of Institution, Bangalore, then Binayak Mission, Annapurna College of Nursing, Tamil Nadu, St. John's College, Dimapur, Apollo College of Nursing, Chennai, and Don Bosco College from Kohima and from Nehu also. So I once again welcome all of you. Our distinguished guest and resource person, Professor Dr. Anup Saikia, Department of Geography, Guwahati University, my colleagues and respected participants affiliated to various colleges and academic institutions. I heartily welcome you all to this webinar on writing research paper for peer-reviewed journals. I especially offer my heartiest thanks to the resource person and speaker for making it convenient to grace the webinar amidst their busy schedule. On the occasion, I just recalled what our Honorable Prime Minister said on 12 June 2020 at the annual session of the Indian Chambers of Commerce held at Kolkata. Honorable Prime Minister said coronavirus pandemic has taught India a lesson in self-reliance, and the industry is to take bold decision to convert the crisis into an opportunity rather than remain conservative. I strongly feel that the Honorable Prime Minister's words are equally relevant for us all, particularly those who are striving in the education sector. Respected audience, just imagine, till few days ago, institutions like ours never pondered over such massive use of online platforms for teaching learning purpose. We never considered that we could sit together, exchange ideas with people of excellence like our resource person today with such ease and comfort. This is unbelievable. Till few days ago, the aspiring scholars and researchers were toiling hard just for an opportunity to meet the experts on the field. But today it is happening everything through massive use of online platforms. Just pressed on the link and it is done. This is really unbelievable. I am sure in the coming days we shall find out more avenues for institutional collaboration. Research is an important aspect in the field of education, especially in the higher education sector. Only when the faculties engage themselves in research and innovation and implement them in practice, there would take place holistic development in the faculty, which might help bringing excellence to the educational institutions. It is also true that the faculties are not only to engage themselves in research, they are also to publish their findings in the peer-reviewed journals. Verification and authentication of their findings and for use of this in the academia. A peer-reviewed journal means a journal which is reviewed by the peers who are considered to be the authority on the particular field or subject area. It is also involves intellectual property rights. Publication of the article in such journal reserve the intellectual right of the researchers. Let me cite here a report of the Economic Times published on December 18, 2019 issue. According to this report, with over 1.3 lakh scientific papers published worldwide, India has become the world's third largest publisher of science and engineering articles. As per statistics compiled by the US National Science Foundation, the number of scientific papers published worldwide increased from 1,75,585 in 2008 and it is 25 lakhs 55,959 in 2018. In 2008, India published 48,998 science and engineering articles, which increased to 1,35,788 articles in 2018. Our neighboring country, China, has topped the list. Writing research papers is not mere writing, it is highly technical matter. It has definite structure and the findings are to be arranged in certain sequences. I do hope our speaker today, Professor Anup Saikia, would adequately deliver on those issues and our faculty members would be able to enhance their skills on the matter and will be able to publish good quality papers having high impact factor. Once again, I welcome you all and wish the webinar a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for delivering your welcome address and for giving us an overview of today's topic. I would now like to request Dr. Ripima Bhuzarbarwa ma'am, IQAC coordinator, to deliver her introductory remark.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyastree Darakhara. Good afternoon, respected Principal Sir, Honorable Resource Person, Professor Dr. Anup Bhatia Sir, esteemed colleagues and participant friends. On behalf of the Internet Quality Assurance Cell and from my own behalf, I extend my hearty welcome to you all. The topic of today's webinar is Writing Research Papers for Peer-Reviewed Journals. In a higher education institution like ours, it is very significant and pertinent. The three dimensions of education are teaching, research, and extension. And we must admit that research is the backbone of education. It is said that knowledge is lost without written record. It is through publication that research is disseminated to others, including the policymakers. It is necessary, therefore, for every academician to transmit and disseminate their knowledge accrued from research through publication. However, all of us know that nowadays the quality of a research article is judged by the quality of the journal where it has been published, and thus it gets recognition. That is why, at present, it has become necessary for all of us to publish the research articles in peer-reviewed or care-listed journals. So, we have to fulfill certain criteria or we have to follow certain techniques which make our research papers fit or eligible for publication in a quality journal. And today we have in our midst Professor Anup Bhatia sir, and he will enrich us with his valuable speech on writing research papers for peer-reviewed journals. I welcome sir to our webinar, and with these few words I conclude my speech. Thank you.
We are very much thankful to you, ma'am, for the introductory remark. Now, we have in our agenda the talk by our resource person, Dr. Anup Saikia sir. Before proceeding to the talk, I would like to introduce our resource person of today's webinar. Professor Dr. Anup Saikia sir is currently holding the position of professor in the Department of Geography, Guwahati University. His area of research includes GIS, protected areas, and landscape metrics. He has published a number of national and international journals. Notable amongst them include Scottish Geographical Journal, Danish Journal of Geography, Singapore Journal of Tropical Geography, International Journal of Remote Sensing, to name a few. We are indeed honored and privileged to have amongst us such an eminent personality. I hope we all will be highly benefited by his valuable deliberation. May I now request our resource person, Dr. Anup Saikia sir, to kindly deliver his talk.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Principal Sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words with an audience from different corners of the state and from different parts of our country. Writing a research paper is not something which can happen overnight. It requires a lot of background effort, and time is the crucial factor. If you are willing to put in hours of work, then you can produce a good paper. And if you want a quick, short success method, that I will do a lot of copying and pasting from 20 other sources, then I'm not the person to be trying to help you, because there are techniques and tools with which you can get caught. So as the digital environment has increased, we have access to a lot of literature, we have access to a lot of papers. You can sit on the internet and download papers from different corners of the world. But at the same time, technology has improved so that there is plagiarism software, and there is software like I am just pasting the names in your in the message board, so you can check these later on. These are two software, Authenticate and Turnitin. Now, what these two software will do is that if you have copied words from any other paper which is available digitally, then any 5 words you copy, this software will detect that plagiarism, and a journal will reject your paper. Now, these software are rather expensive, so you cannot buy it on your own, but a good publishing house has got access to this software, and the annual license is around 6 to 8 lakhs per annum. So if you have to get a license for either Authenticate or Turnitin, the price will vary from 6 to 8 lakhs. But I don't know whether your college principal can get it for you. If he can bargain, maybe he can get it at a lower price also. He could get it as, for example, as low as maybe 4 lakhs per annum. I don't know this. You would have to talk with the vendors. What you do is you write your paper, and then you run it through this software, and it gives you in which sentences, which words, which lines you have extracted from other papers without citing those papers. So then you make changes to your paper so that you remove that plagiarism proportion. I hope you all understand the word plagiarism. Plagiarism is the equivalent of academic theft. When you are stealing somebody else's work and pretending that that is your own work, then you are engaging in plagiarism. This is something which you must not do, because if we are in the teaching profession, we should be teaching honesty and not dishonesty to our students. But many professors, including very senior professors and vice chancellors of universities, sometimes get caught plagiarizing content from others' work. Why? Because maybe they want quick results, maybe they don't want to work hard themselves. So it happens. It happens in the social sciences, it happens in the humanities, it happens in subjects like chemistry and physics. So this is something, as academics, we should all be aware, and we should try not to do this, because you will get caught, right? One is the question of ethics, that you don't want to do something because it is not honest. Stealing somebody else's work or data or ideas or methods is not supposed to be done. We all know that. You and I know that. But sometimes we might engage in it. But my advice is, and I have been, in this teaching business for 30 years now, my advice is that don't get tempted. The other option, the other path is that give time, devote your energy, devote your efforts towards working for a paper, and then the rewards will come. Now, when I say that devote time, I am not saying that you give yourself 2 months time and you're sure to have a good paper. It varies. If you are absolutely brilliant, or if you are a leading person in your lab, in your chemistry lab or in your physics lab, if you can mix up a couple of compounds together and produce results, then a few months is not a problem. Maybe 2 months is not a problem in physical sciences or life sciences. But in social sciences, it can take much longer. So I will give you one submission, that in the science disciplines, people are able to publish in good journals at a more rapid rate than people in social sciences. In social sciences or humanities or languages, it is much more difficult. I agree to that. But that should not be an excuse that, I am not in a subject like physics or chemistry or botany, therefore I will not attempt to write a good paper. That should not be your excuse. We talk about good papers and bad papers. What is the yardstick of a good paper is that it should be listed on an indexing database, and the most popular one today is called Scopus. I have just given you the link. So this is the website you must look at, and you go to this website. You can just register online free of cost, and you can check out your journal there. If your journal which you are targeting to write a paper in, if it is listed in Scopus or similar databases, then you may be reasonably sure that this is some kind of journal with some kind of standard. And the other thing is that you look for a journal with an impact factor, but that is a bit more difficult. All right. And what UGC has done is that they have made it more easy, and they have made a UGC list called a care list of journals. But many of the care list journals are not very good. So I would advise you that do not put your sights on the UGC care list. That should not be a target you would aspire to. The minimum you must aspire to is a journal which is listed in Scopus. And if you feel even braver, then it should be a journal with some kind of an impact factor. That impact factor may be very small. It may be 0.05 or 0.01, or it may be higher. So what sort of journal you target will depend on you and your ability. But it should not be that you would target, I want to work 10 days and have a journal paper published. I would not say that is realistic. You would need a longer period of time. And I have given you one website in the chat box. In the messages, I have given you one website called sci-hub.se. All right. So I will not be, showing you this on my PowerPoint, but this is a website which is illegal, but a lot of us use it simply because we don't have access to unlimited access to high quality journals. Therefore, we have to make use of this website called Sci-Hub. So I'm not encouraging you to use it, but I'm telling you that this is there, and this is a resource which a lot of people use. So in Sci-Hub, what we do is we get the DOI, the Digital Object Identifier of a journal, all right, of an article, not a journal. You get the DOI of an article and you paste the DOI onto Sci-Hub, and you can download the papers. So many people use this. It is not legitimate, and I am not encouraging you to use it, but I am just telling you that this is there and it can be made use of. Now, I will quickly run through my presentation, and I want to give you a little bit of time at the end of the presentation if you have any questions. I will also include my email at the end of the presentation so that if any of you want to follow it up, asking questions or something, I can respond to you. So very quickly, I will run through my presentation. Sorry, I went to the end, and okay. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly is the name of a film in the 1960s, and sometimes I like to take titles from films. So, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, if you run in Google Scholar, you will see what I am talking about. So, please use Google Scholar and you type in Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and you see how many titles of papers we have with a starting part of the title called Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Now, what is publishing in a professional journal? A professional journal is a journal which is accredited by the practitioners of that discipline. So, American Journal of Political Science is recognized by political scientists worldwide. Likewise, the Journal of Physical Chemistry is recognized by physical chemistry people all over the world. The good thing about publishing in a journal, in a high quality journal, is that it increases your visibility. You just need to publish one paper or two papers in a high quality journal, and you have got that stamp, like a rubber stamp, you see. So when the principal or your head of department gives you a certificate, there is a rubber stamp below that certificate. Similarly, when you publish in a good journal, you get a stamp of recognition, and that is very beneficial for a lot of things, including promotion and so on, career advancement and so on. Now look at these two journals. Look at American Journal of Political Science. It has got an impact factor of 4.3. When was this journal started? It started in 1956. And look at the other journal, which I have listed below that. Sorry. All right. Now this is a journal which is very new, and it has got something which the website is given here. You can look at this, journalofpoliticalscience.com, which I have just picked out randomly. All right. This journal has got a fake impact factor, because the impact factor does not come after 1 or 2 years. It can take at least 5 years, 10 years, or even longer before a journal has reached a high level of quality and it is given an impact factor. So you have to be very careful of a lot of bogus journals, right? These are all predatory journals in that they want to take you, they want to rob you of your money. They want to charge you a lot of money, and they promise you that they will publish your paper within 24 hours, within 48 hours, or within 7 days. Now, those of you who have published papers in good journals, you will know that you cannot publish a paper in 48 hours or 1 week or a month. It takes much, much longer, all right? Because there is a peer review process, there is a journal submission process, and so on. So be very careful of these paid journals who want to rob you of your money and publish second-grade work. So if your target is to publish in those kind of journals and get a quick promotion, be very clear. In your interviews, you will get caught. You cannot publish in a second-grade journal by paying 5,000 or 10,000 rupees and you will not get caught. There is nothing like this. All right. So it is better to work hard for a few months and publish a paper after going through the entire process of review and resubmission and so on. So this is from Nature. I have just copied it. But what is important is that what I have highlighted in red is that where a paper is published, that is the important factor. All right. And there is an hierarchy of journals. All journals are not equal. Some journals are good, some journals are bad, some journals are extremely good. And at the top of the pyramid are the most prestigious journals. All right. And below them in green, I have highlighted, there is a middle tier of good discipline specific journals. So this would be specific to your subject. My subject is geography, so I'm aware of the good journals in geography and so on. All right. Why to try and publish in the most prestigious journals? Academic development, professional development. All right. And as I mentioned earlier, visibility of your work. If you publish in a good quality journal, there is nothing like it. You don't need to tell your friends or your colleagues that I have published a paper in this journal. They will know about it. You don't need to keep, you don't need to blow your trumpet. You just keep quiet and they will come to know that he or she has published in this kind of journal. So this was about literature review, which I will just go through very slowly, very swiftly, because sometimes a review of literature is required when you are writing a paper. Why? Just to set the tone for your research, to contextualize your work. Suppose you are talking about, the law of gravity, that your work is going to change the concept of the law of gravity. So before you go on to that, you have to contextualize what is the existing knowledge on the law of gravity till date. And how will you do this? By citing existing literature. All right. So you cite other works, previous works, and place the concept of gravity or whatever you're working on within the broader discipline of, let us say, physics or mechanics and so on. But a review of literature also has another important function. All right. It can help you find out existing methods, existing types of data that has been used to analyze that particular problem, different sources of information, different methods, and so on. So none of us can keep completely abreast of what is going on in our field. Even in geography, I don't know what is going on in the entire field of geography. So I would look at one or two research reviews and find out this is what is going on. So that is another beneficial function of a review of literature. And of course, it also prevents me from trying to reinvent the wheel. All right. Now, if I discuss Assam tea, a lot of research has already been done on Assam tea. So I don't need to keep repeating it. So I would need to look at Assam tea from a different perspective, from a different angle, from an angle which has not been considered before. All right. So that would be also a benefit of conducting brief review of literature. And it helps you to understand the structure of the problem and so on. And at the bottom, I have put that it pays to advertise, within bracket, 100 references. Now, when you write a research paper, if you have a lot of references, you send the paper to a journal and you have a lot of references, immediately the journal editor, he or she, looking at your paper will think that this scholar has put in a lot of work behind this paper. At least in terms of theory, your work is quite sound and comprehensive. So is just a way of advertising, of trying to show that this is what my work is grounded on. My work is based on 100 references. Now you try to prove me wrong. All right. That means you have done your homework and you are basically challenging the editor of that journal that find mistakes with my paper and reject my paper if you can. But I have done my homework well, and this is the proof of it. I have 100 other references which I have gone through and literature which I have read. Another good fallout of consulting a lot of literature is that you will get a whole lot of new ideas. So after having read so much, your own theoretical perspective becomes improved. Do you understand? And you know, the initial topic will not be your final topic, because once you start reading and getting more and more, you know, well developed on a particular topic, your initial topic may be changed, or it may get slightly refined, or the direction of your work may get changed. All right. So you have to be open to new ideas. I will skip all this. What I like is in this slide, just one term, out of the box thinking. You know, out of the box thinking is, now everybody talks about, let us say, climate change. All right. We all know that climate change is a reality, and climate will be changing this in this rate or that rate, or the quantity of rainfall will be increasing or decreasing by this proportion. All right. So everybody can give you a little bit of background about climate change. But I have a student from, she is a geography student, but with a background in zoology. So she came to me and she mentioned that she wants to look at how this fungus, this microscopic fungus called, I forget the name. It is very important today, because with all this COVID pandemic going on, there is black fungus and green fungus and so on. So her fungus, her microscopic fungus, is linked with the COVID pandemic. So she said that I want to look at how different soil categories and different land use patterns influence this microfungus. So I said, this is a really good idea, and you have to go for it. You have to carry on your work, and you know, maybe since I am a geographer and I am not equipped to fully guide you, maybe you should go and talk to somebody in botany department and get more ideas. Okay. So this is what I think of out of the box thinking. Do not be all the time traditional, in which case you will get only traditional ideas. You must try and explore other ideas which have not been done before. And where do you get ideas like this? When you are reading good literature. So by good literature, one of the sources which I think is highly recommended is one website called sciencedirect.com. All right. And for those of you in social sciences, of course, there is taylorandfrancis.com or JSTOR or Cambridge Publishing. A lot of these websites are very good. All right. So, but for people in science, it is sciencedirect.com. So please take a look at this website. All the literature in sciencedirect.com is not available freely. But if you cannot access one or two papers, you can send me by email that this is the paper I want. I will send it to you. Um, okay, I will skip all this because this was a slide meant for a different workshop. But check with these two, Web of Science and Google Scholar, all right, to identify very important papers. Another good source is Nature, nature.com, right? So very important papers you can get in Nature. And of course, there are many other websites where you can, pirated websites, but I will not give you details of those. How do you know you are on track when you're writing a paper? What is important, what is not important? For this, there is no golden rule as such, but you can always consult with a colleague. You can consult with a colleague from elsewhere. You can after your draft is done, you can discuss it with somebody else, but don't give that person your entire draft, because who knows, that person might steal it from you. If the paper is good, it can get stolen, right? But you can always discuss things with others. And for those of you who do not have anybody else to discuss it, a journal, what a reviewer does is basically looks at your paper very critically, and that helps you, all right? If a good journal looks at your paper and gives you comments, using those comments you can improve your own paper. These are just very random tips for writing. But my formula is read, and read. You have to read journals and jot down notes from here and there. For instance, if you are looking at BBC, nowadays in your mobile phone, you can access the BBC app, all right? You can get BBC, it's not costly at all. And you can look at the science section, or you can look at the environment section, or the culture section, whichever is your area of interest. And you can learn from there. You can get ideas from there. You cannot copy the content, but you can certainly copy the style. You can learn style from good websites like BBC. Since I am a cricket fan, sometimes on BBC, I will read the report on a cricket match, and I will learn words from there. And I will adopt those words and use it in my own papers. So you can be innovative in this respect, whether you get ideas from BBC or from other website, some good website, that is up to you. There is no restriction on from where you can get good ideas. Do you like plain titles, or do you like catchy titles which the reviewer of that journal will find interesting, right? So some of these are some of these are lyrics from a song, from different songs. And double jeopardy, of course, is a term in political science. Blowing in the Wind is, of course, a famous song. And Bob Dylan won the Nobel Prize in English Literature for his songwriting. So you can adopt these from anywhere. And Float Like a Butterfly, this is the Google Scholar search. Float like a butterfly is the term used by the very famous boxer Muhammad Ali. So, these are ideas I'm giving you, and you can develop them yourself. So look at this title in a geography journal. This is directly from the lyrics of Bob Dylan's song. how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea, is directly taken from the lyrics of the songwriter Bob Dylan. The same here, raindrops keep falling on my head. And you can see that there are 537 results. And some of these are very good journals in Wiley, and this is in physics, and this is in some other website, and so on. And the title of my paper is based on this film called The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It was released in the 1960s, became very, very famous. And again, this is another title which I used for one of my papers. How Green Was My Valley. It was a novel, and then it was converted into a film. And when I checked in Google Scholar, I got 1970 results based on How Green Was My Valley. So along with a student, I was working on a paper, How Green Was My Valley. And originally it was published, it was submitted in 2017, and then there was a minor review in 2018, and so on. So, you know, it takes time to get papers published. I have already mentioned this to you, so I will skip. What I want to stress here is that, take help from a English professor. If your writing in English is not good, seek the help of somebody who teaches English in your college or university or wherever you are based. And depending on how much effort the professor of English has put into your paper, either you acknowledge that paper, the English professor's help, or you incorporate that English professor as a second or third or fourth author, okay? So that it's mutually beneficial to both of you. There are predatory journals which will charge you a lot of money, and there are many Indian journals with fake impact factors. All right, so I'm giving you examples of one or two journals like this, and there are publishers which are invisible in the sense that they do not really take out your books, but they charge you money to send you one single copy. So you want to avoid publishers like Lambert. Okay, I have given you this before. And this is the website I have told you about, scopus.com. And the last point in this slide is aim moderately high, be realistic. Don't aim extremely high. Now, if you are in sciences and you think that, okay, I'm going to publish in the journal Nature, which has got an impact factor of more than 25. I will not publish in any other journal except Nature. If you think that your quality is that good, then go ahead. But otherwise, be a little realistic and aim moderately high, not too low, but don't go for the topmost journal in your subject straight away. At least I don't. And when you are writing a paper, when you go to that journal's website, this is what you have to do. Each journal will have author guidelines. Now, sometimes it can take you a long time, more than one day, to format your paper according to their guidelines. So a particular journal may have a semicolon, another particular journal may have only a comma, another journal may have a full stop. So you have to structure your references, your paper, your format exactly according to that particular journal. It can take a lot of time, especially if that journal rejects your paper. And don't think that every journal will automatically accept your paper. I have been in the teaching profession for 30 years, and even today I get a paper, I send a paper to a particular journal, it is rejected in 1 month. They say that thank you for your contribution, it is not suitable to our journal. Or in a nice way, they will say, we are not able to make use of your contribution. Thank you very much. So rejection is part of publishing. But I get rejected by one journal, I'll send it to another journal. All right. Only thing is that I have to spend more time and reformat the article following the other journals' different guidelines and send it for publication again. So sometimes to publish one paper, it can take 1.5 to 2 years. But the idea should be that I am not going to give up. Unless your paper is so bad that 20 journals reject it, then I guess you have to think fresh. You use free grammar tools online, improve your English, and we should all be learning. Now, sometimes a student comes up and tells me that, sir, my language is not good because I studied in a Hindi medium school or an Assamese medium school or a Bengali medium school. Yes, you may have studied in a vernacular school, but it does not mean that you will stop learning. You can learn even at the age of 30. You can improve your language by learning. Take up free courses in Coursera. All right. This is the website. They have English improvement courses. Learn English there, improve your language, and then write for a publication for a journal. Nobody says that knowledge is what you have learned at your master's level. No, knowledge is to be improved throughout your life. Even when you are 60 or 50 years old, there is no restriction on improving your skills, your knowledge, your theoretical perspective, and so on. The important thing is that keep persevering, don't give up. And if you read a few good papers, very minutely, very closely, I don't say why you will not improve. But if you are not going to read good literature, there's no use. You must read good literature. And don't think that, a paper written by somebody in a university is necessarily good. No. All universities are not good. There are very few Indian universities which are in the top 200 globally. So there are bad universities also. Many universities in India are hopeless. So don't necessarily read what your professor may have written. Your professor may not be good enough. But read literature published by reputed journals where an assistant professor also may write a better paper than a professor with 30 years of experience. All right. I would generally say avoid a journal with article processing charges. And there is a journal called Scientific Reports. It's a very reputed journal, but they charge around 2 lakhs to make your article open access. So if you don't have that kind of money, don't target that kind of a journal. These are all types of review, so I will not give you details about this, but if you have any questions, I will answer them. Why publish in a good journal? Because you get credit, you get visibility, you get reviewer invitations, and of course, we all like promotions, we all like career advancement, all right? So all this comes with publishing good quality papers. So I have given you my email address there. If you email me and say that I attended your lecture on so-and-so college in this date, and if you can help me with accessing this paper or this publication, then I will be, I will respond in 1 or 2 days and help you out. Okay, I think I have spoken about these before. So I will, yeah, don't worry about, rejection in one journal. That is not the end of the world. One journal may reject it, it may come out in a better journal. So don't give up hope at all. Yes, okay, I think I have repeated this, and please take a look at this website. I think that this will benefit you. And if you have had time to copy down that website, then I will close my presentation here. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
So we are extremely thankful for your highly informative and explanatory presentation. It was indeed a pleasure listening to you. You have certainly enlightened us with your wide knowledge on research publications and information on different journals. The key points that you have emphasized, such as plagiarism software, citation database like Scopus, professional journals, impact factors, idea on how to write catchy titles, journal guidelines for authors, etc., will undoubtedly assist us in publishing our own research papers in peer-reviewed high-impact factor journals. I believe all the participants have been highly benefited through your fruitful deliberation. We also appreciate you for sparing us your valuable time for us. Thank you once again, sir. So the next item on our agenda is the Q&A or the interaction session. I would like to request 2 or 3 questions from our participants. I believe sir will be very happy to answer to all of your queries. Any questions, please?
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Dr. Vijay Mandal from Bihali Degree College. I have a question. Yes, I am
sir.
audible, ma'am.
Yes, you can please place your question to sir.
So I would like to speak, ma'am, about the impact factor. So who was the authority to decide the impact factor and what was the criteria? How can measure the impact factor of the journal?
Yeah, I will just give it here that this
Yes,
is
sir.
the only agency. There is an agency called JCR, Journal Citation Reports. Right?
Journal citation report. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
JCR is the only recognized agency which gives impact factors.
Yes, sir.
But nowadays, you can check up most impact factors in Google. If you write, the name of the journal, if you type it in Google and you ask Google what is the impact factor of that journal, then Google will give you the JCR rating. So what these other journals do is that they will have a few bogus impact factors. They will call it global impact factor or universal UIF. Correct? They will have something called UIF or global impact factor. These are all fake. So JCR is given by one firm called Clarivate, CLARI, Clarivate Analytics. So,
sir, according to what criteria it should be measure the impact factor, sir?
Impact factor is the number of citations an article receives after being published in that journal. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Let us say that if we have somebody from chemistry, I forget the lady who got the Nobel Prize in chemistry last year. She got it for, I forget. She was a French chemist called. Charpentier. So
Yes.
she was doing cut and paste of the genome sequence, and her
Okay,
papers
sir.
are cited more than 10,000 times. Okay,
Yes.
so the
Yes.
number of citations of a particular paper published
Okay,
in that
sir.
journal, the average number
Okay.
of citations published in a particular journal,
Done.
that is the
Yes. Yes. Okay.
impact factor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I will just if I can just show you
Yes.
um, a few days ago. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. A few days
Yes.
ago
Visible, sir.
in the Indian Express, this report was carried. And I look at Delhi University because it is one of the premier universities in India. They said
Yes,
that
sir.
this professor was appointed head by violating seniority. So I looked at the name. They said Sangeet Kumar Ragi. All right.
Okay,
So
sir.
you can see the name here. Sorry, Sangeet Kumar Ragi.
Yes.
And I go to Scopus, and I've given you the website Scopus. Then I click authors,
Yeah.
and I enter his or her name. All right. What is
Yes.
his first name? What is his? And I can check out what kind of work this person has done. And I can
Yes.
see
Okay, sir.
that this professor has got only 3 papers to his credit. All right.
Okay,
So
sir.
and I see that okay, Sangeet Kumar Ragi, University of Delhi, has got
Yes.
3 papers, and all of them are book chapters. You can see here book. This is book chapter, one book, and another book chapter. No journals. All right. So I know that yes, something wrong has been done here. But he is a professor in a university, and not too much work. All right. But
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir.
I go to another professor. And this is from a US university. And I check on this and I see that this professor has got a lot of publications, 78 papers. All right. So these are the citations, and these are the number of papers, and this is the H index. So this sort of should answer your question about why Indian universities are not top ranked in the globe. Our former president of India, Pranab Mukherjee, he was saying that at least one Indian university should come in the top 200 globally. Now, I showed you the reason why we are not top 200 globally. Because we get people who are professors, but they don't have high quality work. So, don't get worried that you are not able to publish. It takes time. But if you give yourself time, I don't see why you should not succeed. If you cannot write English properly, take help from a colleague in English, make it a joint paper, because that colleague has corrected your English and so on. You keep that colleague as the 3rd author or the 4th author, and you yourself will be the 1st author, and so on. So that it is mutually beneficial for both of you, and that way you can publish. So the Scopus is a very useful tool. Some professors, they have the habit of saying that I am the greatest. There is no person greater than me. This attitude is a very Indian attitude. This is a wrong attitude. I met the Nobel Prize winner in chemistry. Sorry, not chemistry, economics. She won the Nobel Prize in economics in uh, 2009, I think, Eleanor Ostrom. And I tell you, it was so humbling to meet her. There was no, I don't know the English word, kintu bhan bola bostu tu nasile. She was so humble and so easy to speak with. Right? Eleanor Ostrom. Of course, unfortunately, she was very elderly, and about 6 months after I met her, she passed away. But I still have a photograph which I took with her, and I spoke with her. So, good scholars are generally very humble, and they will help others. And there are another group of scholars who will just unnecessarily blow their trumpet. So if you want to check up who is blowing his trumpet and who is not blowing his trumpet, you can check up on Scopus. You can keep track of all your colleagues also, who's working how hard. You can track on Scopus. So you can do that, and feel free to do it also. There are other databases, but Scopus is very user friendly. I hope I have answered. If there are any more questions, because I have a syllabus committee meeting at 4:30. So maybe 10 more minutes, and then I have to wind up.
Okay, sir.
Anybody has any other queries? I can answer them.
Yes, if anybody has any other questions, kindly put them fast. So, sir, I just have one question. So, when we search in Google Scholar, along with H index, there is also one point I10 index. I actually don't get what it is properly.
No, I10 index is the number of papers which have been cited at least 10 times.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So if your I10 index is 3, that means 3 of your papers will have been cited at least 10 times.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
But Google citing in papers which are cited in Google are not necessarily cited in Scopus. So Scopus is a little bit more rigorous.
Yes, sir. I get it. Okay. Thank you once again, sir. You have really enriched us with your knowledge. So if there are no more questions from the participants, we may proceed to our next item in the agenda, that is the vote of thanks. So I now request Ms. Debanjali Saikia, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. It's an honor to have been asked to offer a vote of thanks on this delightful event. On behalf of the entire team of Surendascollege, here I am. A very hearty gratitude to the respected speaker for sharing his graceful words with us in today's webinar. It was indeed a very enlightening session. We have been fortunate enough to have Dr. Anup Saikia sir as our resource person today, and sharing his illuminating knowledge in research paper writing, especially for peer-reviewed journals, and also his tips for writing a research paper and innovative ideas regarding how to choose a research article, interesting research article titles also. Words. So thank you very much, sir, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
I want to extend our sincere gratitude to the principal of Surendascollege, Dr. Hiroino Kumar Sharma sir, for giving us the opportunity for organizing such a wonderful national webinar. I may like to express our generous thanks to IQAC Coordinator Ripima Buzor Bura Baidu, Assistant Coordinator Biswajit Kolita sir, and Omulya Kolita sir, the technical team, and all the members of Research Cell of Surendascollege for taking the initiative of arranging such a informative session. And I would also like to thank Dr. Gitashri Dorabdhara for hosting the national webinar so smoothly. And at last but not the least, I like to express our sincere thanks to all the participants, including as our faculty members of Surendascollege and also the research scholars of different institutions across India for their valuable time and efforts in making this webinar a fruitful one. So thank you all.
Thank you, Debanjali. Thank you, Anup Sekia sir. Thank you, Principal sir. And lastly, I would like to thank all the active participants of today's webinar. It was because of all the participants that we have been able to hold this webinar so smoothly. So thank you once again, everyone. And we look forward to hosting such fruitful webinars in the future, as well as your active participation in all such events. Thank you all once again, and I now declare this webinar closed. Thank you.